You are about to participate in a great adventure.
Hit in the air to deep right center.
Pike open on the low side. Greg Pike, believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy. No need to be greedy. Mad friends with Benzes and C-notes by the layers. I love it when you call me Big Papa.
It is high.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is far.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
It is gone.
You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Sports Show. Today's December 21st, 2012, our 11th show. December 21st.
Aren't we supposed to be dead right now?
We should be. I mean, that's what the Mayans said, but, I mean, from the window from our studio,
It's looking pretty good out there.
it really is. Doesn't look like anything's on fire. Doesn't look like anybody's running around.
I think we're going to be okay here.
Yeah.
I think we made it.
I mean, we got a couple more hours left in the day, so you never know what can happen.
Yeah, this is true.
But, you know, it's all, stupid stuff. But,
I'd love to know the people that didn't go, Christmas shopping because they thought the world was going to end and how they're going to look on Christmas.
Well, you get the people that go nuts about it and go out and buy everything to help them through.
Yeah, exactly.
But other than that, I mean, we're still alive and we're back for another show,
Which is always good.
Yeah, but I wanted to get into Chuck Pagano.
It's a good place to start.
This guy was, the coach. His first year with the Colts as a head coach, and he was diagnosed with leukemia. Right?
Yeah.
Leukemia?
Yeah.
I forgot what week it was. What, week 5 maybe?
It was definitely early.
It was early. And he was going through all the chemo and everything. And actually, we have great news. He will be back on the sideline for their last game of the season.
So the home game too. So
Yes.
that place is going to be going crazy.
Yeah, very truck strong over here.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely am too, man.
So it's a great story. There's so many articles about it.
Yeah. You could see the city rallying around this guy. You could see all the people with the Chuck Strong shirts, and they're not wearing Colt shirts right now. They're wearing shirts for Chuck.
Yeah.
And it shows something that he changed that team. They had 2 wins last year, and now look at them rallying around their coach with 8-9 wins already. It's really amazing.
Chuck Pagano, like we said, will be on the sideline for their last game. And like I said, there's a few articles out there. Quoting my co-host here, there's an article on, ESPN?
ESPN. It was the title page yesterday. I don't know. I know it was by a writer named Wayne Fress. If you can look him up on Twitter or search him on ESPN, it was one of the best articles I ever read on ESPN. It really gets to you, and it just shows how how positive Chuck is staying through this, and it was explaining how a few people that are also going through the same disease that he's going through. Just what makes him get through it is just thinking about Chuck and how he's doing, and how he met with a couple of kids that were had unfortunate situations too, and it's just, I don't know, it really, because not one person hasn't been affected by cancer. And this, not one person hasn't been touched by this. So that's why I think it really gets to you, because everyone's been through this, and he's being really positive about it, and so is that whole city. It's just, it really changes your perspective on some things.
Well, we were talking about this before we went on the air, but I'm going to quote Tom saying that the article changed his life.
It's true, man. It really, I'm not afraid to say, I'm a 22-year-old man, and it made me tear. It really, it just gets to you, how he's touching all these people's lives, and how this whole city is just rallying around one normal guy, just a 38-year-old male, and they're just, the whole city, the whole team is just really amazing stuff.
It really is. But we're going to get into Football Friday, obviously. We'll get into a few, notable things in the sports, like NBA and MLB. and then we're bringing a new segment to our
addition to Football Friday.
Yeah.
A little mix up.
We'll get into standouts, what we think, who's going to have the best games this week. We'll get into QB, running back, wide receiver / tight ends, then a defense, and then we're going to come up with an upset win, who we think is going to upset. But the first game we'll get into is New Orleans and Dallas. Very, very big game.
Definitely.
New Orleans is mathematically still in it, but realistically they're out of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
we can be real.
6-8. The Cowboys are 8-6. Cowboys, after last week, they're tied for first place in the NFC East. They won 5 out of their last 6, I believe. Something like that.
Yeah, they're definitely heating up.
Yeah.
Though. You can see him and Dez really starting something good.
Yeah, definitely. But New Orleans coming in with one of the top offenses in the league. They're 3rd in the league. Passing offense, they're 2nd. Rushing offense, they're 24th. But total points, they're fourth in the league. Then you go to the Dallas side. Dallas is a top offense also. Total offense is 8th. Their passing offense is 4th. Their rushing offense is 31st, which, both these teams are coming in with not that great of, rushing offenses.
Yeah.
And their total points, they're ranked 15th. But the defensive side is where this is pretty much going to, consider who wins this game. The total defense for the New Orleans Saints, they're 32nd.
Yeah, you can
last in the league.
You could see a shootout in this game for sure. The Cowboys have a good defense, but it's just Drew Brees. I mean, he finds ways to throw his 300 yards, get his couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, and it's definitely looking towards a shootout in this game, I think.
They're 31st in passing defense. They're 31st in rushing defense, and total points, they're 27th. Then you go to the Dallas side. Their total defense is 14th. Passing defense is 14th. Their rushing defense is 15th, and their total points is 21st. But it's really, Dallas is really showing up these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They have 5 comeback wins this year in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And Romo's ranked 4th out of all the QBs in fourth quarter QB rating. So, this is definitely, I believe this is going to be a shootout. If Dallas can hold, Drew Brees, maybe either keep him off the field or, try to keep up with them.
Yeah. Or if they
couple of stops.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you can get at least a couple stops,
because the Cowboys defense their forte is rushing the passer and coverage. They're really good in coverage.
Yeah, their secondary is really
and they're getting back. They're going to get back Morris Claiborne. He sat out last week with a concussion. They're going to get back Ernie Sims, their linebacker, who went out of the game last week in the first quarter with a concussion. And they're going to get back their safety, Charlie Peppra, who is not going to start, but he will get considerable amount of plays because they need someone to guard Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, they have too many weapons.
The thing is, I believe that the Cowboys are going to put a cornerback on Jimmy Graham.
Well, because
they got enough.
Any linebacker is a mismatch because he's just too fast and too big. And linebackers won't make a difference.
If the Cowboys still had either Bruce Carter or Sean Lee,
I think they would probably they would have went with that.
Because they're quick linebackers and they're very good in coverage, but they're out obviously. So you have Dan Connor and Ernie Sims starting.
Yeah,
so
you can't put that on Dan Connor.
No, so I do believe that they're going to have either a safety or a cornerback on Jimmy Graham, and we'll see if the Cowboys can hold maybe Jimmy Graham and Darren Sproles to nothing.
Yeah,
I think that the Cowboys can win this game. Looking back at that Saints-Giants game, Giants made a couple of stops, and the Saints didn't. This
Yeah,
thing's just-
exactly. The defense is a mess this year.
So, we'll see what happens. This is a big game for Dallas. They're in Dallas. They need to win to stay in the playoff race. They win out, they're NFC East champions.
Yeah.
So,
and it looks like a different Dallas team this year.
Yeah.
It feels different. About,
they're mentally strong.
Yeah, that's the thing they're always weak at. In previous years they would fall apart at this time of year, but this year just seems different. It seems like they're actually getting better as the time goes.
Yeah,
and it's fun. It's good to see finally with this team. It's good to see what Romo finally.
They have the talent and everything,
and everything's finally starting to click together.
And Romo had a really good year last year. He came into this year, struggled a little bit in the beginning, but that was also because of the wide receivers weren't where they were supposed to be, and they're actually doing that now, and you can see Romo is believing in them more.
Yeah, exactly.
He's trusting them more. The wide receivers are where they're supposed to be, and Romo is not. The big thing early in the season was him pump faking. Romo would pump fake because he didn't know if the guy was going to be there, and then he would either take a sack, throw an interception, fumble, whatever. But
I think the solidification of the defense has really helped too. The second year of Rob Ryan, you could tell the defense. Like last year, they were good, but they were just learning, his system, how he did things. This year, they're really starting to take off, and I mean, it's easy to say, but that helps the offense as much as anything does. So, and
like I said, Dallas, what Rob Ryan's doing with that defense, with all the injuries, is pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And if the front line of Dallas can hold up like they did last week, because that was probably the best I've seen their line play this whole season, and maybe even all of last season.
I think if they had Ratliff, they would probably be in an even better situation than they are right now.
But they did say maybe if they make the playoffs, he might come back. So you never know. But we'll get.
You need someone besides D. Ware on that line.
Well, Spencer's having a really good season too.
He's definitely stepped up.
But we'll get to the next game.
We're gonna go into Washington and Philly, big divisional game for Washington.
Very big.
Just as important as the Dallas game, well, obviously, but it's got a little bit more to it because of the division. Philly's obviously done, but they want to play spoiler, especially against a divisional team. Washington, the RG3, Shanahan said RG3 should be able to play.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly what that means with, everything that happens now, and you don't want to risk your franchise quarterback on one game.
Not at all.
But
especially when you're still in the playoff race.
And Washington also, they have the best running game in the league.
Yeah.
So you can rely on that a lot against Philly.
It wasn't even like Cousins had a bad game last week. He had a very good game.
Yeah.
Very, very good game. So, it's not like, you're not risking really anything. You're going up against a team that's, 4-10?
So if Griffin's not 100%, you shouldn't... There's not a worry to throw him out there when you have Kirk Cousins, who just did what he did last week against an even better defense than the Philly defense. So I think Morris will have a big day, at least over 100, 120, probably a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of smelling something about this game, though.
Really?
Are you smelling something on this game?
I do smell something. It may be an upset.
I think it can happen.
I don't know. But we'll see. It's in Philly.
RG3's banged up. He's not going to be. If he plays, he's not going to be 100%.
He's going to have a knee brace. Yeah. So if like I said, I've been telling people if he's he's a very good quarterback. I'm not dissing him or anything. Very good quarterback. But I think his his legs kind of make it harder to guard him. I mean, he's a very accurate quarterback, but if he's a pocket passer, I don't think he's going to be as strong as he's been, because now you could just set everybody back.
And we're not saying he's like a Vic, like just pure like scrambling quarterback, but
he's a very good pocket passer. Yeah, very good pocket passer.
But just to be able to escape the threat, like move out of the pocket and throw on the run. That's where he shines. That's his forte. That's his thing. And he has amazing accuracy when he throws on the run. So,
and it's
about
easier,
staying healthy for that.
Yeah, and it's easier to get a pass rush on him if you know he's gonna, just sit in the pocket.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now, like, because if you're playing against a team that has a rushing quarterback, your main thing is to keep him contained.
Mm-hmm.
So now your pass rush is kind of diminished because of now you're trying to go straight up the field instead of going towards the quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be tougher to go up against a rushing quarterback because of that. But now if he's a pocket passer this week, the Philadelphia Eagles showed that they can rush the quarterback with the best of them. Even after getting rid of Jason Babin.
So now that we're looking at this, RG3 is not going to be completely himself.
They said a knee brace he might be wearing.
So he's not going to be his agile, quick move, quick cut moves that he does.
Yeah.
He's going to be sitting in the pocket. Philly knows that.
Yeah.
They're going to go after him all game. They're going to blitz him all game. They're going to hit him from all sides. They're going to hit him low. They're going to try to hit him in the knee. Because that's just how football is, especially a division game. So I think Philly can pull something out here. I think they're gonna try to send a message that they're not going to be walked over. They're trying to spoil Washington's first good year in a while. All these playoff hopes. Philly's, I think they're looking to put an end to all this.
Yeah. We'll get into the next game, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, which is another big game because, like I said, I think this game pretty much locks up who's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is that wild card spot.
This is the offenses are not the greatest in both these games.
Yeah, this should definitely be low scoring.
This is a defensive game. Both, Cincinnati's got the number one sack defense. And then you go to Pittsburgh, and they got the number one overall defense.
Yeah.
So, their passing defense is number 1, too, even though they gave up 341 yards last week to Tony Romo. But they're fourth in rushing defense also, and 8th in total points. So, you go to Cincinnati, they're 6th in total defense, 12th in passing defense, 9th in rushing defense, and 10th in total points.
Yeah, and I think besides San Francisco, Cincinnati's definitely the best tackling team in the league. They don't miss tackles, and that's important.
And that was a big thing last week. Pittsburgh did not really. They had a lot of broken tackles in that game. There was a few plays where I did not know what Polamalu thought he was doing. There was one play with I think it was Dwayne Harris went for a wide receiver screen, broke it off, and as he got up to Polamalu jumped and kind of jumped over his head. I don't know what he was trying to do, but Dwayne Harris ended up getting 5 more yards, put him in the red zone, and Cowboys ended up scoring right after that.
You can see Polamalu's not as physical as he used to be.
He's not what he used to be. That injury really hurt him.
Yeah, you can tell he's not trying to rush it anymore. He's playing with a lot of safety now that he never used to play with.
Last week was the first game that I actually watched Pittsburgh all the way through.
Yeah,
and I was actually now in the past years I've watched Pittsburgh and I've watched Polamalu, but this past week against Dallas, he just looked very slow.
He looked exactly like Ed Reed looks like this year. They can't make one-on-one tackles really.
He wasn't. The main thing with him, he wasn't like jumping the routes like he used to.
Yeah.
And it looked like he read the play, but he just wasn't fast enough to get there. He doesn't have that
anymore.
So I don't know. I
think it's pretty safe to say he's definitely not 100%.
No, not at all. Not at all.
They just they got him out there for the playoff push. We can say so. But he's definitely not the same Polamalu.
But this is a very big game. A lot of stuff has been said about Roethlisberger and Todd Haley. Especially after the game against Dallas.
Yeah. Roethlisberger said he didn't like
questioning the play calls, but also, you are the quarterback. You can change the play at the line.
Exactly.
And he didn't, but
and Haley's definitely made that offense a little bit better than what they
definitely
were. So I think Roethlisberger's a little wrong on that.
this is going to be a very good game. I don't know if Pittsburgh pulls this game out. I mean, it is in Pittsburgh. I just don't know if they pull this game out.
I feel
Cincinnati.
I'm feeling like a Cincinnati's good. I just feel like
Cincinnati's offense is all right, but it's better than Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I just think they're on a better. They're in a better groove. Like that's the word I'm looking for than the Steelers. You can see, although they lost a couple weeks ago, but Cincinnati's starting to groove a little bit more each week. They're starting to get better. The offense is growing together with the Dalton, AJ Green, are becoming one of the most dangerous tandems in football with the quarterback and wide receiver. So I just think Cincinnati's more on the up than the Steelers are right now.
Yeah. But we'll get into the next game, Minnesota at Houston.
This is an interesting game because Minnesota's in the playoffs right now, as we all know. They're the 6th seed at the moment.
Yes.
Very surprising because of the play of Christian Ponder throwing his 130 yards a game like he always does.
Yeah.
But everyone knows Adrian Peterson only needs his 294 yards to break the all-time record for most yards in the season. And you could tell the team has the mindset that they want him to get that record.
But I also have, I have a feeling that their mindset is we're going to go on the back of Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to ride into the playoffs on Adrian Peterson's back, and I don't think that works.
No, you can't do that in the playoffs. Going into these next
2 games, I think, it's going to be tough to do that. Houston's coming in one of the top rushing, defenses in the league.
Yeah.
So I don't think he comes up with, the 150 yards that he's been getting, So it's going to be a tough game, and they just don't have the quarterback. Christian Ponder is not the quarterback to beat Houston
and it seems
by himself.
The only way Peterson... I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. He's obviously one of the best, if not the best. But it seems like every game, he has an okay game, but then he has that one long run.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest, question or what I'm looking for in that game is if he's going to have that one big run.
Yeah.
That could be the game difference. And not only the score, but, if he can get the record or not. If he breaks out a 70, 75-yard run, then that changes everything. That's basically half a game stats right there. So... I think if Houston's going to try to shut that down, obviously first, they're going to try to avoid the big running play.
I would, if I was Houston going into that game, I would let Ponder beat us.
That's what you have. Yeah,
I'm putting 8 in the box.
Yeah.
I'm putting 8 in the box, and I'm manning up on the outside. There's really no.
Because they don't.
reason,
no Percy. They have no one to throw to. Besides.
There's no reason why you should let Adrian Peterson beat you. There's absolutely no reason because Ponder is not a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback to beat Houston by himself.
No.
So it's just, and their defense is all right. Their defense is physical.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think they could really lean on Peterson that much.
I don't think you can do it against a good opponent as the Texans are.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get away with that on Houston.
Not at all. And,
they're not going to be able to. And then when Houston has the ball, I just don't see them being able to stop them.
No.
Matt Schaub, Aaron Foster, they're just too much. They just have too much. And I think they're going to be on the field a lot more than the Vikings offense will be on the field.
And Houston still needs this game because they're still
they're still trying
for a number 1 seed. So, it's going to be interesting. This game's going to be interesting. But I will tell you, if Adrian Peterson does not have over 120 yards, the Vikings will lose this game.
Yeah, it probably. If he doesn't have his big day, this game probably won't be close.
Yeah. So I don't even think he gets 100 this game.
No, I think this will be his first. I guess you would call average game.
Yeah. I don't even think he might have maybe one or 2 touchdowns. I don't even think he's get 2.
And like we said, I mean, it all depends on that big play capability.
Exactly.
If he breaks that one play, it can change everything. If he doesn't, they're not going to win this game.
Exactly. We'll get to the next game. Very, very big game. Very, very good game, I guess you can say. The Giants at Baltimore. Now, both teams coming in another, Baltimore is really struggling lately. They
definitely. 3-game losing streak.
It's like they haven't really found their identity, and they don't know whether to run the ball, pass the ball. They don't know what they're doing. Flacco's inconsistent.
Yeah, he's too inconsistent.
Their defense is decimated with injuries, and it's showing.
So I have a pretty simple solution for all of this, though. Ray Rice is a better running back than Joe Flacco is quarterback.
Absolutely. He
should be our offense.
The best player on that offense. Ray Rice.
They're not building the offense around him.
Absolutely not.
They're building it around Flacco instead. Yeah. And I understand, you want to get your guy weapons, but Ray Rice is top 2, top 3 players. I'm not even speaking like in running back term. Like, he's probably top 5 in the NFL as just a player, as what he can do on an every down situation. And when you watch the Ravens, it's either run, or pass.
Yeah.
So,
and when
there's no
pass, they lose.
Yeah, and when it's pass, it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and then Flacco gets sacked because he never gets rid of it. And when it's run, pass, it's the same situation. It'll be Ray Rice doesn't get as good runs, like not getting blocks or like good setup.
Away from
and then it'll be 3rd down. Flacco will either get sacked, incomplete, whatever. And then little do you know, you're down going into late third, fourth quarter, and Ray Rice is gone.
Yeah,
and that's a problem. You got to establish a run with him.
With Baltimore, they're gonna have Torrey Smith on the field because he went out last week with a concussion. It looks like Terrell Suggs played last week, so he might play this week. And Ray Lewis might even play this week.
It's like you'd like to see them come back, but after the firing of Cam Cameron, you would have thought this team would play with some life. And they were absolutely dead still. Yeah. They all said, it's a big wake-up call, this and that. No. They showed absolutely no heart, nothing in that game. It was 31-3.
Yeah.
But the final score was 34-17. It was not even that close at all.
Yeah.
That team absolutely did not show up at home. And there's a lot more problems going on with that team than just injuries, and so there's something else going on.
Yeah. Then you go to the Giants side, coming off a very, very bad loss against Atlanta.
Yeah, really ugly.
And then they're going to Baltimore. Baltimore's still a tough place to play. I don't think Baltimore wants to lose 3 in a row.
4.
4 in a row?
Not 4 in a row in Baltimore, but 4, yeah. It's 3 in a row right now, 2 at home.
Yeah.
So,
the Giants' defense is not good.
No.
I'm going to straight out tell you they're not good. If they're not rushing the quarterback and they're not getting any pressure, they're going to get killed because their secondary is not good. Their best player in the secondary is Antrell Roll, and he'll have his very, very, very good coverage games, and he's a very good run support kind of safety. And then he'll have his great coverage games, and then he'll have his games where he's just you don't know what he's doing out in coverage. So last week was one of those I don't know what he's doing in coverage kind of games. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a tough game for the Giants. Tough game for Baltimore too. It's gonna come down to which defense stops.
Yeah, and I think I'm obviously a Ravens fan, but I'm very not feeling too good about them right now, and I just think this is a game where the Giants D-line is actually going to wake up a little bit, because like we said in the past and said 5 minutes ago, Flacco holds onto the ball way too long, and this is the last defensive line that you want to do this against.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think if he can avoid that, I think we'll win this game, because he'll be able to pass it on the Giants.
Yeah. This is the team that Baltimore really needs to set up the run.
Yeah.
This is the one team that you really need to set up the run, because then that's going to stop that pass rush.
And that's how it is. It should be every game with this team.
Yeah.
But especially this one. If you can set up the run early with Rice, that secondary will have a bad day all day.
But, the Giants, it's a tough game for both of them. I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Obviously,
I think I actually think this is the game of the week too, like the 4:30 start. So,
but we're gonna get into the next game. I think this is the best game of the week. at least the top one, top two.
Yeah. Another big divisional game.
San Francisco at Seattle.
And this is big because I believe San Francisco still has the 2-game lead, but you would like it to be if it was like a 1-game lead because that would make it a lot more interesting. But this game is in Seattle. Seattle does not lose at home.
They really don't.
But San Francisco is the perfect road team. The perfect NFL road team.
They're a very good tackling team.
They're a very good tackling team. They don't fall under the pressure.
Yeah.
The defense doesn't fall under pressure of like long drives and all that. They can play in bad weather. They showed that in New England.
Both teams have very good defenses.
Yeah, we're talking San Francisco's number 2.
Yeah.
Seattle's number 3. Should be low scoring, but something. At least with me, I just feel like the offenses are actually going to show up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's whatever quarterback has the better game.
Yeah, and they're both the same type of quarterback.
Yeah.
Both, out of the pocket. They can throw on the run. They can scramble. They're young. They're big, both big. They can both scramble to pick up first downs with their feet. They also have the same kind of running game as well.
Yeah.
Although Lynch is obviously bigger than Gore, but they're both downhill runners.
They don't like to be tackled by one guy.
Yeah. So they're very similar teams.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
And they don't have the best wide receivers, but they have scrappy wide receivers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Seattle's
Seattle's
got
done.
Sidney Rice. They got Golden Tate. Guys like that. And then you go to San Francisco. They got Michael Crabtree. They got who else?
Manningham, if he's back.
Yeah,
I think I know he was hurt.
These are all scrappy wide receivers, fast, kind of scrappy.
And I'm really impressed with Seattle this year because you knew San Francisco was going to be up there with their defense.
Yeah,
you knew they were going to be top 3.
Yeah,
because they have all the big names. They have the Willis, the Bowmans, the Whitners, the Carlos Rogers. But for Seattle to be number 3 in defense, with the players they have, they don't have those big name, high profile guys.
They have very underrated, very good,
very
players.
underrated.
You look at their safety. You got Cam Chancellor, very very good physical.
Yes, they have a very very good defensive line,
then
front
you got
7.
Your other safeties, Earl Thomas, very very good safety.
They have the biggest corner tandem in football, probably NFL
Richard
history.
Sherman. So it's they have a very good defense. Front line, they got Bruce Irvin.
Yeah.
They have ridiculous.
They just have the perfect type of corners because especially nowadays, wide receivers are just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, they have big wide.
So
receivers. Big cornerbacks.
When you have a 6'3" and a 6'4" corner, wide receivers that are 6'2" to 6'5", that's a big difference because they're not going to be able to get those jump balls because they're going to be able to contend with them. So I think that's a big difference. This is going to be a very good game now. This is definitely game of the week, as you said, I think.
Yeah. I do like this game. I like this week. This week's going to be very interesting.
Second to last one.
Very, very good.
Coming down to a lot of divisional games now.
Yeah.
Week 17, I believe, is all divisional games.
Yep.
So you like what they're doing with that, but you wish some of the matchups would be better with the divisional teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much.
It's hard to tell in the beginning of the season, where teams are going to end up, but
right now you're looking at the NFC being the most interesting because
there's so many teams.
The AFC, you already got your 4 division winners.
Yes. Well, although the Ravens haven't clinched yet.
The Ravens haven't clinched yet, but
pretty much.
They already clinched a playoff berth.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the NFC side, you got
2 divisions open, and wild cards open.
Yeah. So
in the AFC, the wild cards are pretty much
everybody's either got the same record or one game back.
Exactly.
So it's going to be.
The AFC's kind of
8 and 6 teams right now,
and the AFC's figured out. I mean, we know the Colts are a wild card and a second AFC North team is a wild card.
If you look at the AFC, they'll have maybe 1 or 2 teams that are they're going to be 9 and 7, maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe even an 8 and 8 team make it in. But in the NFC, I think your lowest record is maybe going to be,
looking at
a 10 and 6.
We could be looking at a 10-win
a
wild
10
card.
and 6, 6 seed. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So
the NFC had a really good year this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with with
definitely
everything.
in a couple of these games.
Yeah.
With the upset we're thinking with Washington and Philly.
Yeah, that's a very, very big game. We'll get to our standouts, who we think. This is a new segment to our show. I'm going to go first, and I'll go with my quarterback. I do believe Aaron Rodgers is going to have a very good game. I believe he's going to have around 325 yards, probably 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, he's going against the Tennessee team that's really not that great.
Yeah.
Their defense is not that great, and I think he's going to pick them apart. Who do you think? Who's your quarterback?
Quarterback, I'm going with Matt Schaub.
Matt Schaub.
I think he's going to pick apart the Vikings defense. I think they're going to be on the field for a lot longer than the Vikings will be on the field for. I think because of how their defense is going to play, I just don't think they're going to be able to. They just have too many weapons to shut down.
Yeah.
You load the box for Aaron Forster, Andre Johnson's going to kill you.
Yeah.
You back off, Aaron Forster's going to kill you. So I just think they have too much going on. I think Schaub's trying to lock up that 1 seed. I think he's going to have the biggest day for a quarterback.
Yeah. Running back, I do believe Alfred Morris will have a big game for the Redskins going against Philly. I do think with RG3, with his injury, I do think they're going to run the ball more. They are the number 1 rushing team in the league. I do believe he has 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. But like I said before, I have something up with that Philly-Washington game. But I do believe Alfred Morris has a big game for Washington Redskins.
And I was thinking about this last night as we were talking about this, and I was also thinking Alfred Morris, but just out of respect of you picking him, I'll mix it up. But I will stay in the same division. I'm going DeMarco Murray. And I think DeMarco Murray's going to have a nice day because he's trying to I think they have to establish a run on the Saints. They're going to want to try to keep him off the field, obviously.
All right. Well, we got Nick from Sayville. What's up, Nick?
Hey, how you doing? I wanted to ask you guys a question. Who do you think is the best team in the NFC right now?
In the NFC, I do believe in the NFC. I think it is the 49ers. They're the most complete team right now. Kaepernick's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
And their defense is obviously one of the top defenses in the league. So I do believe the 49ers are the best team in the league.
Personally, right now, I think the best team in the NFC at the moment is the Packers. I think they're on absolute hot streak. I think this is a very resembling team of the 2010 Super Bowl team. They're getting the running game going late, just as they did in 2010. They're getting key injuries back. Clay Matthews already had a sack in his first game back. I think the Packers are going to make a run at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, thanks for the question.
All right. Do you think the Packers should win the Super Bowl again? Or
I think they have. Out of the NFC, I think they have the best chance to at least get to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to predict that they're going to win it, but I think they have the best shot because they have the best quarterback in the league, and that just puts you in an advantage over pretty much everyone else when you have an Aaron Rodgers. And their defense is finally getting healthy again. They're finally all getting back together. Woodson's coming back. This is just a very resembling team to 2010.
Yeah, so I think the Packers do have a good chance. But I do, I can't really go up against, the 49ers because they do have a top defense, and I think they have the best defense in, the NFC. So I'd probably have to go. I'm not really sold on Kaepernick yet.
That's the only thing that's keeping me from the Niners.
Yeah, but I do. I mean, you really got to go with the 49ers.
And honestly,
do you think he's better than Alex Smith?
I think he gives them more options than Alex Smith.
Yeah, there's more.
And I think long term he's going to be better than Alex Smith because he takes the chances that Alex Smith does not take. He can avoid the rush that Alex Smith cannot avoid.
Yeah.
He can step out of the pocket, make the throws Alex Smith cannot make. So I think long term Kaepernick's going to be a lot better than Alex Smith will be. And I think the 49ers see that.
Yeah, with Kaepernick, it's more, I feel like Harbaugh has more plays he can do with Kaepernick than he does with Alex Smith. And I think with Alex Smith, he had, the top QB rating, but
He's too predictable.
He all his routes are short routes. They're it's nothing going deep. But I do feel like Kaepernick is better for the 49ers than Alex
because we got the plays like the spread option that Carolina runs.
Yeah.
San Francisco is now running that a little bit more. And like we said about Alex, he's dink and dunk, 10-yard passes, 15-yard passes, in and outs. With Kaepernick, he stretches out the defense a lot more than Alex Smith ever would. And you can see the 49ers leaning towards Kaepernick because
I do. I think Alex Smith is gone.
I think he's gonna end up in Arizona.
He might. That would be a good fit for them.
Yeah,
that'd be a good fit. But thanks for the question.
I think there's gonna be a couple quarterback mix-ups.
Yeah.
Now that we're on it by the end of next year, because we know Sanchez isn't gonna be back.
Yeah.
Tebow's not gonna be back on the Jets. So a lot of quarterback
changes, and you know what? There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks.
Exactly. We got like the Chiefs need a quarterback. Arizona needs a quarterback. So it's gonna be a lot of quarterback changes next year.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be tough because now with the Jets. Now you look at the Jets. Tebow's gonna be gone. They already said he's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
But then you look at, a lot of people coming out, there were sources coming out that Sanchez was going to be gone too. But then there's sources coming out now that he's going to stay. The biggest thing with them is the money.
I think they're either looking for a trade and that's it, because you can't just get rid of him,
Yeah.
So it's either a trade or have him on the bench.
All right, we got another phone call from Ryan from Sayville. What's up, Ryan?
Yo, how you guys doing?
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
So you've been talking about the MVP race yet? Or Adrian Peterson, Manning, Brady?
We've been talking about that the last couple of weeks. My MVP pick is still Peyton Manning. I mean, Adrian Peterson's doing, amazing things right now. But I still think Peyton Manning should be the MVP because they're on a 9-game winning streak, and the teams that they're playing up next, I believe, Peyton Manning's going to pretty much take them to an 11-game winning streak going into the playoffs.
And I think a lot of the voters also, I know all the voters are going to vote for Peyton because everybody loves Peyton, but my vote personally goes to Adrian Peterson. I think not even being a year removed from a torn ACL, which it takes pretty much the time where we are now from last year to even come back, and for him to be back week one and doing what he's doing right now, on pace to potentially break the all-time single-season record, I think that says something, because when you're the best player on your team, the only player on your team basically on the offense, every team is setting out to stop you every game, and they can't, I think that says something about the type of player you are.
Yeah, with Adrian Peterson, it's like, I do, maybe if he does get the record, I think maybe, he ends up pulling away with the MVP. But I think they also need to make the playoffs for him to win the MVP.
And I just think it's so locked up for Peyton, because you know how all the writers have it in for Peyton.
With everything he's done, I think. And, I mean, you can't even knock Tom Brady either, because Tom Brady's having an amazing year, too.
But I think this is a year of the comeback players, though, with Peyton and Peterson.
I think it's either one. Whoever wins MVP, the other one's going to win comeback player.
You would hope.
Year.
And I would at least hope the MVP is a lot closer, and I think it's not going to be, because I think Peyton's going to win, and easily, just because of how everyone feels about Peyton.
Yeah.
But I just hope it's a lot closer than
definitely.
I'm thinking it's going to be.
But that's what we think.
Yeah, I'd have to say Peterson, just because he's going to always play on the offense, and the Broncos went to the playoffs last year, so it's not anything new for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Making a difference, but they still had a great team last year, and Vikings suck without Peterson, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd have to say Adrian.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
All right, well, thank you.
All right,
thanks, Rye.
All right, well, we got another phone call from Jerry from Valley Stream. What's up, Jerry?
How you doing, Jerry and Tom? I got one question. As Tony Romo's finally starting to come into his own, how do you rate him against Aikman and Staubach?
Well, Romo did just break Aikman's touchdown record, and Romo still has a few years to go.
Yeah, he's still got some prime years.
But the thing is, right now with Romo is, the playoff wins and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl wins. So it's, it's kind of going up against them. It's kind of tough to say.
Well, I mean, not everyone also had Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith, on their offense. But
and Aikman also had one of the best offensive lines.
Yeah,
too.
so it definitely comes down to the hardware, the rings, the Super Bowls, and Romo's got to at least start winning playoff games to even be thought about in that conversation. Because I believe he only has one in his career at the moment.
Yeah.
So he definitely.
What do you think? Do you think he's going to take him to the Super Bowl this year?
It all depends. I mean, if he could get him into the playoffs, I think they have a very good chance.
Yeah, this is definitely a different Cowboys team than past years. I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams if they make the playoffs, because everyone thinks they're just like a layover in the playoffs. But I think this is a different team this year. They seem to have a different mindset about what they want. Yeah, they just seem like a more complete team than they've ever been.
Like we said before, they're showing that they're a mentally strong team. So I'd like to see the Cowboys try to make it into the playoffs.
And the teams that always end up winning the Super Bowl, the teams that go in hot.
And honestly,
the Cowboys
they're
are very hot right now.
One of the hottest teams in the league right now. So.
All right, thank you.
All right,
thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for the calls. We'll get into some other news. The OKC Thunder had a 12-game winning streak going into last night, and it was snapped.
Yeah, finally.
So that's big, but I think they're still the top team in the league right now.
Definitely not missing James Harden.
Yeah. So, but we were talking about it the other day. The Knicks and the Nets. Melo is back.
Yep.
Brook Lopez was back, and the Nets. The Knicks pretty much beat the Nets pretty easily, 100-86. Melo put up 31. Joe Johnson put up 17.
These are games that make us believe in the Knicks a little more, because as we said the day of the show for that game,
wanted to see all the injured guys back.
We wanted to see the injured guys back, but we also wanted to see a bounce-back game from the Knicks after the loss to the Rockets, the bad loss, where they played no defense, they showed no effort. And this is the things we're talking about, like, if we're going to, jump on the bandwagon with the Knicks, was if they can have a nice bounce-back game, and that's exactly what they did. So I'm definitely starting to earn a little more with this team.
Yeah. It was a very good win for the Knicks, especially considering the rivalry, the new rivalry that they have with the Nets now.
Definitely.
But it's kind of this rivalry is kind of like ending earlier in the season.
It seems like they're playing too many games early.
I'd like to see what happens, towards the end of the season, if they play each other towards the end of the season.
You would hope they would.
Yeah. In other news, the NHL canceled.
It just gets worse and worse.
Canceled games through January 14th now.
And when does hockey normally go on till?
It usually goes on till, I think it's like, end of February, maybe March or so. It's pretty much.
They should just say it already.
It's pretty much like the basketball season.
And just at this point,
just cancel it.
Just cancel it.
Yeah.
Just cool off some steam. Go back to negotiations next year.
Yeah.
Not next year, but a couple months from now, when everyone's, because you can tell they're all mad at each other.
Yeah.
They're not going to get anything done. Just move on for a little bit. Just take a breather.
And then in baseball news, we had Edwin Jackson signed with the Cubs for 4 years, $52 million. It's a good pickup for the Cubs. A.J. Pierzynski signed with the Rangers for 1 year. I really thought the Yankees were going to go after him.
Yeah, they needed him, though, because losing Napoli.
Yeah, the Yankees, I don't know what they're doing. It looks like they're going to bank on Cervelli and maybe Romine.
Yeah, it's very, very confusing that they didn't get a catcher.
Yeah, this is not really like a regular year. Like, the Yankees are not players in any of these.
Well, Cashman said he's trying to lower that payroll.
Yeah.
And I guess he wasn't kidding.
Placido Polanco signed a 1 year, $2.75 million with the Marlins, and the Mets lose another pitcher. Pelfrey signs with 1 year with the Twins. So
they got some real pitching problems now, don't they?
Yeah.
All they're banking on is what, Daniel G?
Yeah, pretty much. But back to our standouts. We're up to the wide receiver. I do think Julio Jones has a big game. I think he's going to have like 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. But definitely a big game for Julio Jones.
Yeah, I could see that. There's a couple I was thinking about. I think a tight end's going to have a big game. I can't decide like what tight end, but I think Vernon Davis is going to have a nice day. Yeah. Because they, like we said, they had the nice corners for, the wide receivers. San Francisco has some tall wide receivers with Randy Moss and stuff. So yeah, I just think Vernon Davis, he's a mismatch for anyone. He's like a Jimmy Graham. He's a little shorter, obviously. But he is lightning fast for a tight end. He is. Yeah, he really is. He's a mismatch for any linebacker, and if they throw a safety on him, that's even worse because he just outsizes them way too much. So I think Vernon Davis will have a nice day. You can definitely tell him and Kaepernick him and Kaepernick have a very nice rhythm going. It's definitely his main target. So I think Vernon's gonna have the big day. Yeah, and then we're gonna get to an upset win. Like I said before, I do think the Eagles upset the Redskins. I think everybody is going against the Eagles, and I think the Eagles are, they're going into 2 division games now, and I think that they're going to pull at least one of them off. So I do pick the Eagles over the Redskins. Yeah, I definitely like that pick too, but just to keep it going, I'll mix it up. I'll pick a different game than you. I think let's see here. This is a tough one. I think a nice upset will be... It's not much of an upset because of how they're playing, but I will take Seattle over San Fran. Wow. I think they can't lose at home. It's a night game. They're going to be even crazier at a night game. Definitely. And just how they're playing right now, I believe that they've outscored their opponents the last 2 games like 103 to 18 or something, just something mind-boggling like that. So their offense is on fire. Everything's clicking on their team. I'm definitely picking Seattle. It's definitely going to be a good game. It's easily the game of the week. Yeah, but that's about it for the Tom and Jerry show. Thank you for the calls. We're taking calls every show now, so definitely call in with any questions. But Tom and Jerry are signing out. I'm Jerry. And I'm Tom. Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show.